Sunday, April 26th, but whenever you're seeing this, welcome in everyone. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who have been with us, welcome back. We are grateful and appreciate you. My name's Lexi.
And my name is Gabrielle.
And it's episode 5 since we've done the rebranding. And so if this is the first time tuning in, or if you've missed any of the episodes, if you want to go back and watch any previous ones, they will be on the tube under Founders of the New Earth. And we will get it on before our next live broadcast. And yes. Okay. So no matter when you're tuning in and watching any of these, whether it's now, later, whatever, every message that we say, all the videos and the content are timeless. So we set that intention. So it's going to meet you where you are. So don't worry about the timestamp. We're grateful that you are here. And as a collective together, we are
the new
Founders of the New
Earth. Yes.
All right. So, oh, also, I just wanted to note, if whenever you're seeing this too, if you, we both do offer services in our bio. Please continue to like, share, no matter where you are, repost during the live. But if you or someone you know may be interested in becoming a guest on our live, you can email all inquiries to foundersofthenewearth@gmail.com. Okay? So, actually, good morning. What time is it there? All right, so let's get started. We actually, the episode name today is called Fusing the Gap. Last week, we talked about bridging the gap. So, do you want to get started?
Yes. So after the bridge, if you were on our last week live, we talked about from the energy of the old earth to the new earth. And that's what we're seeing now. We're in the energy now. And so now we're in the energy of fusion. So fusion is actually embodying of the energy. Like me and Lexi, we were talking before we get out, before we get on the live, we always talk beforehand. And we were talking about how we don't even feel like we need to have the need anymore or whatever to like communicate with our guides, because our guides are one with us. And when she said that, I was like, I said it to myself a few weeks ago too. It's like, it's the embodiment of it. We are legitimately embodied with our higher self, our guides and everything like that. So it's not any longer needing to feel like you're going outside of yourself to get information. You are one with the source, the universe, everything, and it is one with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even realize that, but that is literally the fusion of the gap. That is the integration of all of it. And everything is a process. And sometimes I think at the beginning, about, I don't know, it was probably 6 years ago, maybe even longer than that. I tried to navigate spirituality the same way I navigated religion, which is having a certain structure. So like I found out, oh, we have guides, we have archangels, we can pull from that. And so then I start, using this information I'm given and applying it in different ways, whatever, just as we do like the Bible and sermons and fellowship, all of these things, you realize you have these tools. And it wasn't until, I literally just had this epiphany today, but even, following up to this or leading up to this, I realized that it all slowly integrates into me. And so when I said to her, like, I don't even call on my guides anymore. Now, there are times that I specifically will call on Archangel Michael or Archangel Gabriel to really, and Metatron, to like ground in that focused energy, because it's a different type of energy. But when it comes to my spirit guides and my personal ancestors and angels, that was a tongue twister, it feels like a part of me. And that is like, it was an epiphany. That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's the fusion. It's the embodiment. This whole journey is about embodiment. You learn something. That's why I tell people, like, you can know something, you can learn something textbook wise. You can know something, but have you really integrated that? Like, a lot of people know stuff on paper. They're very philosophical, but then when it comes to integrating that, doing that internal work, you're not doing the work. So you can know all the things or whatever and know what it needs to do and all that stuff. But it's really when you start to doing the things, embody it. And then it's a different level. And then even when you teach from that level of embodiment compared to, I noticed that along my journey or whatever, when you teach from that level of embodiment compared to the level of just learning or whatever, it's a whole different kind of thing because you don't have to think about anything. It's just something that you do that you know, and you know the process. You know that. So when you understand something, you're able to help people facilitate in their life, their transformation, because you understand the journey yourself.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing when you were saying that, was trust. You actually trust yourself and what you're given. And I think in the beginning of the awakening and the last episodes, we've kind of done like a build up of where we are and slowly like have stepping stones. Hi, Earl, to where we are. But the first couple episodes were about the shift and about the changes and the ego death and the old timelines and old identities collapsing, things that literally are not resonating with you on a spiritual soul level anymore. Misalignment and illusions are exposed. And in that process, you almost stop trusting. You're like, okay, I've made these choices up until now at whatever age, usually we're adults, right? And then you're like, this lack of trust for me, I'm not speaking for anyone else, but I really started to question every decision I ever made.
Yeah, it's a part of the stage because it's like, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right move? Am I doing, when nothing really is the wrong move? You know what I mean? Some things I always say something is either a lesson or a blessing. So if it's a lesson, it's something that you're meant to go through. Like it's a lot of things that I had to go through looking back in hindsight because I wasn't there consciously for where I needed to be. So I had to go through those different experiences, which molded me into the person I am now. So a lot of times we make moves or whatever, not in the version that we're looking to become, but we make moves in that old version, but still those are stepping stones. And when you trust yourself to go through those stepping stones to get you to your next level, then that's where the real beauty and work is because you trust yourself and you know you're one with everything.
Yes. And it's all a part of the process of literally unbecoming and then becoming. And I just briefly want to touch on after the shift or whatever, then you have the reckoning. And yes, these are points that we talk about often, but I think that they're always worth noting because no matter when you're hearing this, sometimes it will land differently than it did before. And I could hear the same thing 5,000 times, but one day it lands different than it did. Earl said when we learn to connect to spirit, it changes everything, even the stepping stones. We get bits and pieces of spiritual guide. I was just telling Gabrielle before you came on, is that I don't even call on my spirit guides anymore because they are truly integrated into who I am. So that aligns perfectly. But after that shift and the changes and the misalignment, then you have like the reckoning and there's deeper patterns that are exposed. There's boundaries that you're needing to implement that you never felt the need to do before. And I like to call the reckoning, I like to think of it as a boulder, and it's just going through and demolishing everything that you weren't able to do. And that quote, if you resist, it will persist, is in this stage. It's like the more you resist, it will continue. And then the boulder comes in and literally clears it out. Earl said yes, and then it becomes ascension. Yes, that is, yeah. Also, things that you cling to and attachments, they are really focused in this point, and the universe basically knocks it out and like shines a light on all of it. So last week, bridging the gap, this week, fusing the gap. And after the shift, after the reckoning, after the bridge that you start to rebuild things back, then you have to start integrating everything you've learned and get closer to the higher version of yourself.
And I love how you broke it down because a lot of people feel like this is just something that you do and then it's over with. No, this is a spiral. This is an average on the steps that we're talking about. Like Lexi said, like wherever version you are, wherever you are in your journey or whatever, it will sit different. But this right here are the steps of every time. Look at it as a video game. Every time you get to the next level, you have other things to do within that level. You have different loot to get in that level. Then you have another boss to beat until you get, to the final level, So that's the way I look at it. It's this ever journey of going through these steps within yourself because you get to something that's deeper inside of yourself, you're looking at, you like, dang, I thought I did work around that. You did, but then now that you're at a higher level of consciousness, it's time to dig deeper into what you're doing. So then you start digging deeper, going inside of yourself, looking up. Sometimes it's not even your lifetime in this work. It's your ancestors, it's past lifetimes that you start digging up. And so that's where the work really comes in. And then when you start to realize the pattern, that's why I always tell people, pattern recognition is your tool. When you can recognize the pattern in your life, in your everyday life, and in this journey, it will help you out so much, because you know those times that when you're feeling a little bit more down, or you're going through that dark night of the soul or whatever, you know this is a part of the journey and that you would get out. Ever since I've been on my journey, one thing I've said to myself, every time I'm going through something that's hard for me in that season, I'm like, you know what? I always get through it. I'm going to get through it. I always do. This is just something that I'm saying, that it feels tough right now, but I always get through it. And I have the proof in my consciousness to prove that, because every time I get through it and it becomes easier, and now I'm on to something else.
Absolutely. It does get easier. And Earl said, especially when you go to places of power, it's an upgrade on steroids. I think too, do you mean like temples and stuff? I think that's what you're referring to. I also think, and I was talking to Gabrielle before the live too, when you go to people with power too, that know their own power, I feel like I'm upgraded. I feel like it's energy on steroids. So like when her and I connect, okay, sacred land. Okay, yes, that too. Where I am, kind of in BFE, I don't really get, like, I think there is sacred land, sacred grounds, yes. But I haven't had the chance to like go to temples and stuff. I would love to go to certain like Buddhist temples. Oh my God, I think that would be amazing. But I also think you can get upgrades of your consciousness and an upgrade on steroids when you surround yourself with like-minded people. So even like Earl and I, we were playing phone tag all morning, but when I get off the phone with him, I feel upgraded. I feel like, even if it's just him validating what I'm saying, he's like, oh girl, you got it. Yes, you know what you're talking about. It's like, cool. Okay. Because you don't always get those conversations with people that get it. So then you constantly feel out of like misunderstood, really. So those times that you can feel understood is beautiful. Finding like-minded people is a game changer. That's why we created this too.
Conscious human. Hey girl, she said, I absolutely love this conversation. Thank you, love. But you know what? When you said that, and it's so true, like it's the people that you're around. It's the energies that you're around. And I love when he talked about going to different temples and stuff like that. But when you realize it's not just even temples, we have ley lines. And me and Lexi talked about this before. I remember when a few months ago, whatever, she was going out of town or whatever, and I was explaining to her how, our energies in certain areas are meant to be in certain areas. Sometimes we're being called physically to move or go somewhere. That's because our energy signature alone in different ley lines help change the environment of that area. It helps bring different codes in or whatever. Like, we don't realize how powerful we are. We think we're just these human physical vessels when we're not. We are energetic beings, and so when we're in line with our original blueprint, when we walk and we have a conversation and we move, we are legitimately putting off high vibration into the world and legitimately helping to heal the whole collective.
Yeah. Earl said ley lines. So I was told at the very beginning of my awakening that I was going to be like a grid worker, and that's why I work with Metatron a lot. But during that time that I was going out of town, that's why I said sacred grounds is a key. Yeah. I also believe when you are a grid worker, when you are a light worker, and you truly have a calling of, it was during that time that I said to Gabrielle, I got like this download that was like, I am a, what was it? I lay light lines is what I was calling it. And I'm like, I'm just laying light lines wherever I'm going. My energy is making these pings and pins along, the earth and mapping out. And so don't ever, like, this journey can be hard. It's a lot of deconstruction. It's a lot of reckoning. It's a lot of confusion. It's also a lot of figuring out, like, emotional intelligence, figuring out who is for you, people, places, things, thoughts, words, actions, getting that alignment in self. But when you reach that point, and in between and in the process, you will get little pings of these points too. I mean, it's always up and down, nothing's linear, but you realize like the purpose and the calling you have is so beautiful, and you are the sacred temple walking the earth. Like when you realize your power, I think it just starts to make everything worth it. Because there was a time that I was like, please, can I go back?
Yeah. And that's a part of the journey too. We all go through that. Conscious Human said we are alchemists. Yes, we are alchemists, and that is our power. What we don't understand is when we feel like it's situations in our life. Like I told Lexi today, and when we were talking beforehand, I was telling her how it feels like we're going through training camp. Like the ones that know, it feels like we're in training days, weeks, months, or something. Like legitimately, I was talking to my higher self the other day, and I was like, this is training camp. This is like emotional intelligence training camp. This is inner alchemy, of course. This is all the different things of us learning how to hold our frequency. What we're feeling now, what we're going through now, is actually the work. Our only job really here is learning how to hold our frequency, how to embody that frequency, how to walk as that frequency in every single step of the day, every minute, every part of the day. And that's what we're doing. So some days you're going to be feeling high vibration, good. Some days you're going to be feeling low. You're going to be going deep inside of yourself. Like legitimately, when I go inside, when I travel inside of my mind's eye now, I legitimately feel like I'm traveling to different worlds. Like I was sitting outside today, and I was thinking about something else, and I'm like, we don't realize our whole imagination is like a whole nother world that we're legitimately creating in, and we bring that into physical form.
Yes. So King said, man, she preaching today. And then Earl said, it is training camp. Yes, different realms. And I want to put in perspective, because yes, there are trenches, and yes, it is exhausting energetically, physically. It can be exhausting in a training camp scenario, right? But you don't go to training camp because anything's wrong with you. You don't go to training camp because you need to shift anything. You literally go to training camp because you are being prepared for another level, and you are being prepared for something bigger. So you have to go through the trenches that other people are not willing to do, so that you are able to level up and go into, whether it be the military or whatever. It's a way of living that other people aren't necessarily willing to do. A boot camp, a training camp. People don't do that. They like to stay surface. And sometimes we can stay surface for as long as we can, but most of the time when you are meant to ascend, the training camps come in and you signed up whether you want to or not. So you might as well embrace it as what it is.
Yes, embrace it. When you said that, I was getting chills, because legitimately that's what it is. And when we can look at it in that way, it becomes fun, because then it becomes fun, even on the hard times or whatever. It becomes fun because you are becoming a self-mastery. That's what we talk about a lot, self-mastery. You're becoming the master of yourself. When you can master thyself, you become Neo in the Matrix. There's no escaping the Matrix. You came here to learn in the Matrix. You came here to learn how to maneuver and work through it. Everybody's talking about leaving and exiting the Matrix. Well, you know what? You're going to do that when you leave this body anyway. So you came here to master yourself in this physical 3D reality, to be able to learn and move how you are as energy. And when you do that, you understand that you create this whole reality yourself. So it's a beautiful journey within yourself when you're looking at it. Okay, my job is to master myself. That's the work. That's the beauty.
The energy is crazy. I am like, I'm full of chills right now. It's crazy. I mean, a good crazy. When I say crazy, it is not a bad thing. The energy it's intense. There's something significant about Sunday, and not because it's in the Bible as the day of rest, but there is a recalibration, which is originally why you wanted to do it on a Sunday. This is not where I was going at all. I have something I wanted to say, but this is where it's taken me. So I just want to just note that there's a lot energetically that's happening. Planetary energy, but even in politics, hello, we just saw what happened, right? Earl just said fire element when I literally said that. What the fuck? That is wild.
That fire bringing the heat, baby.
Cool.
My grandma used to say, if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen.
I am covered in. I want to know in the comments in the chat, is anyone else feeling all over like full body chills? Like
I do. I'm feeling it, baby. I'm
the
here for it.
energy is
I am here for
crazy.
it.
So if you are not understanding of your baseline energy, if you don't know who you are, which is what we talked about, Insight said, I am the light. Yes. And that is being activated in all of us. You can either choose to answer the call, or you can ignore it for as long as you can without ignoring it at one point. It will become inevitable. We are all the light. Yes, exactly. When he says, I am the light, and then Earl followed and said, we all are light. It's when he said, I am the light, I was thinking I am. So like, that's the oneness, the beauty and everything. But understanding too, when you are able to look at everything happening as a reflection of the inner state of consciousness, the collective consciousness, what happened yesterday, or I don't know when it was, the dinner, whatever, with the pew pew thing. That's the reckoning. It's a jolt to everyone's system. It's a jolt to the perfectly life, the 9 to 5, the kids, the marriage, the whatever. Yes.
The illusion. The illusion. I mean, when you look at this reality, you realize everything is an illusion, and that within this illusion, this is your game of play, and so it becomes empowering because nothing that you are going through is you're meant to stay there. Everything is building you up for you to be the full embodiment of God's source energy in this tactile experience. Because we always talk about the law of oneness. We're all one. We all come from this one. You can call it God, Jesus, whatever name you want to give it. We all talk about the same thing. And need to stop arguing about the different names. This is what we need to stop doing. We all come from one source. So with that being said, perception, all about perception, And if when you really research and started learning about yourself, you even realize in different religions and different cultures, it's the exact same story, the exact same pattern. Pattern recognition is very important because when you understand that, you see that all these different civilizations, all these different religions, all these different cultures are talking about the exact same thing, just different names, different people or whatever, different characters or whatever, but it's the exact same thing. We are all one. So it's beautiful. What you going to say?
Just even what you were saying about different religions, when I was looking into the 7 stages of awakening, they said it is literally throughout the course of anyone who has ever written about the awakening, whether they were very like long time ago or even New Age spirituality, whether it was Buddhist, whether it was whatever, they all have the very common core. Every stage has the same energy. Every religion has the same energy, although they're all based in a fear-based mindset with rules and constructs that, obviously man-made. But regardless, looking at it, you understand the grander scale of everything, and that we all are experiencing life, whether you are a woman or a man, or you don't identify with anything, right? Or you are married, or you're single, or a cat lady that is never going to get married and doesn't have any kids and lives alone. Everyone can find something that we relate to someone on. Like, one of my best friends is 83 years old. I freaking love her. Her spirit and my spirit, like, I know we were besties in multiple lifetimes. Like, she is amazing. No one on the outside looking in would think we had any similarities. So the grandness of all, and Earl said, everything is everything, all is all. And that 100%. Yes.
I like that you said that, because a lot of us that seem to resonate, because all my life I've always been around older people, get along with older people, have older friends, all my life. And I was raised by my great grandmother when my mom used to be on drugs or whatever. Mom has been sober now 26 years. But thank you.
Go mom, go mom.
But I was raised by my grandmother for the most part, my great grandmother. But with that being said, like you will realize that old souls or whatever, like we just connect with older people in general because we've been been through here through different lifetimes. Like legitimately, older people will see the wisdom in a young person that is an old soul because they identify that. They can see that or whatever. Like I've heard that all my life, like you're an old soul. And yeah, when I was younger, I didn't get that or whatever. I'm just like, I just love people and I get older people. I love talking to them. I love soaking in the wisdom that they have, the experiences that they have or whatever. You know, it's beautiful.
Earl said, return to self, sending love to mom. That's awesome. Because that's literally what happened.
Yes.
When you beat addictions, when you beat something outside of yourself, even if it's like I struggled with weight my entire life. I lost 90 pounds, but I've kept it off for over 10 years. But the point is, it was a return to self. It was literally this grounding of myself to realize, like, what was I compensating for it? And it's anything. It's it can any type of lifestyle that you're not truly in yourself.
Yeah. That's where I'm glad you brought that up, because when we're not in ourselves, that's another part of embodiment. Your vessel, of being connected to your vessel. So many people, and I know because I used to be one of them, are so disconnected from their body. They legitimately don't know what's going on in their vessel. Like they don't know when they're all of a sudden feeling anxious or whatever, where all of a sudden they have a panic attack. Yes. It's signs before you have I used to have a panic attack. It's signs leading up to a panic attack. When you're in tune with your body, you realize what's going on. You're feeling dysregulated. Your breath might be changing. You might be feeling anxiety in your stomach. You realize that. But when you're not in tune with yourself, all of a sudden it hits you like a roller coaster, like a wave or whatever. So that's why it's so important to be in tune with your body, to know the sensations in your body. Take a moment. I sometimes throughout the day or whatever, when I'm working or whatever, I have to legitimately stop. I work for myself, of course, but I have to legitimately stop what I'm doing and get into my body, because my body is saying, it's some alarms and bells going off. And I'm like, okay, where's this coming from? What is going on? It might be something that's coming up that was another lifetime, or sometimes it's something that's coming up because what I'm working on now is bringing up a lot of deep rooted wounds that I've been pulling back for years, and I'm getting even deeper layers of it. And I'm like, okay, let me process, breathe through this, let me feel through this, and let me see what is this trying to show me in this moment that whatever I'm working on.
Yes, AJ said, you girls are looking beautiful.
Thank you.
And Earl says, yes, we must purify the body. Yes, amen. And oh my gosh, you were saying something. I lost it reading the comments. Sorry, I can't do two things at once. I also just wanted to note the training camp thing, back to that. Oh, it was the anxiety and having panic attacks and all of that. And what I sent you a video. I don't know if you got to watch it, but it was about when you get overstimulated, it's destimulating is what he said, but it's not actually a word or whatever. But I don't think, but it can be now. We can make it up. But because I looked it up and like it wasn't.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yes, so coming down from that stimulation, but I had a panic attack so bad that my son had to call 911 on me for me when I was about 26, and I couldn't physically speak, and the walls were literally caving in on me. I was crawling back on my bed because I saw the walls coming in on me. I was scared that my house was collapsing on me. And I was screaming and nothing was coming out. Like that was crazy. And I thought, what the point that it took to get to that point where I was so disconnected from my body, disconnected from self, that I didn't even see the signs of the triggers. And I just kept pushing through everything that was screaming at me. Stop, sit, hold on, take a minute. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? Nothing, because I didn't know the answer. I didn't even know what to I didn't know. Right. But now like when you were saying that, looking back, especially after my divorce, I have never, there might be a few times that have gotten like a spike of anxious feeling. Instantly, I'm like, I'm safe. Everything is fine. This is the mind. This is the ego. I know you're trying to protect me. I know you're trying to help me, but I'm overriding my system right now. I'm overriding the program, because that's all it is. And I think it's such a powerful tool to know your power, to know that you control the outcome, that you are the conscious creator of the way that you're living in the here and now. And I haven't had any anxiety in over 5 years.
I'm glad you said that, because I thought about something else when you said that. What else? Another thing too is what we talk about, knowing your baseline energy. Like Lexi just said, when she knows it's herself, like she's like, okay, I'm coming down, I'm fine, I'm safe, all the different things. But sometimes it can be when we talk about other people sending energy your way. Now, when you understand you're an alchemist, you're not afraid of anybody sending any evil eye your way. You legitimately take that shit and use it for your highest good when you know how to use energy. Because everything is energy. If somebody sending something negative your way, somebody sending something whatever, you can use it for your highest good to get to your next level. So even when you're that's why I say it's so good to check in with yourself, because you get a chance to see, is this something of mine coming up and I'm working on? Is this something to me? Or is this somebody sending something my way? When you get in tune with your body and you're in tune with your higher self and your body, everything in system is on board, then you're like, okay, this is me, or no, this is somebody sending something my way or whatever. Okay. Then you have the energy to be able to turn that back either toward them, to return it to sender, or use it. Now they become your bitch. Now use it. And then you use it for what you need to use it for. You use that energy for what you need to use it for. Or if it's the collective, you're like, okay, well, this is the collective stuff. I'm feeling it. It's grand. It's huge. Okay. Let me process this, because we're all doing this work together. So that's why it's so important to know what your energy feels like when you're at that baseline, when something is coming up from inside of you, when something is coming from outside of you, coming towards you. It's so important to know, so you can know how to navigate yourself and your reality.
And at that point, I'm looking back, it was when I had just had my miscarriage. It was when my marriage was collapsing. It was a whole bunch of things. I was taking all the energy on from everyone around me, plus the
your inner
death
stuff
that I had, that I had to, experience and deal with. And I wasn't talking about it. I wasn't, I was allowing it to all fill itself in a container that it couldn't. That the container was collapsing, right? And that's literally what happened. But so yes, it is important. And Earl and I had this conversation not long ago, and he even said that's why I always say purify the body. And we were talking, and he grounds or goes to a tree. The earth, the Mother Earth, is such a beautiful grounding source. And he says unbalanced air element. Air is the mind, the element of the mind. Sometimes we have to understand, well, not sometimes, we have to understand, where is this energy coming from? Sometimes our energy is so intense that we can create storms from just a simple gust of air. Right? We can create a wave with just a simple sprinkle of water, splash.
That's what the monkey mind does. The monkey mind will feel something, take on something, all of a sudden go on a whole roller coaster, and all of a sudden you wonder, like, how did this little one thing end up being such a big thing in your head? But if you're not aware of it, then all of a sudden it's a big thing in your head. Now you're roller coaster and you're spiraling out of control. But when you realize it, and then you're like, okay, I can stop this right here. This is not me. Then you can recalibrate and recenter yourself. But yes, the monkey mind will take a concept and just go. And it's so, this way you can tell this reality is inverted in a way, but it's inverted. And I always say to myself, Spirit has really been telling me, when there's no enemy inside of yourself, there's no enemy outside of yourself. So we also have to stop looking at it in the way of, these people are doing this, all these different things or whatever. Okay, this is all us. This is all training ground, training camp for us. So we came here, even if somebody is the villain in the story or whatever, they were meant to be that villain. They were meant to do those things or whatever, so we can be able to learn how to walk through that. When we realize that it's not like saying, you take so much of your power back when you realize that, because it's not like somebody is coming after me, somebody's coming to get me. Because that's another thing too on this journey. It's another part of that journey. When we on this journey or whatever, we'll go through that part where we see the fear, we see all the stuff. Then we'll sometimes feed into it. Oh, everybody is out. People are doing this. What people might be doing it. Oh, the fuck, well, whatever. You know what I mean? When I know how powerful I am, that does not matter to me, because no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So therefore, they can do whatever they want to do. They just sending me energy my way so I can use.
And use your body. I've said this so many times, and I'll say it again until the day I die. Use your body as a filtration system. Energy comes in, it's your choice on what you do with it and how you allow it to affect you. You bring the energy in, you realize this ain't my energy, but it's cool. You sent it my way. Thank you. I'm going to take it, run it through a filtration system, just like a zero water filter. My son has it. We put shitty water in, we get zero water out. And then the zero, it's nothing. It will run right through you and gives you no nutrition. But guess what? We then add vitamin D, we add Celtic salt, we add other nutrients to it. So you choose what you add to the energy once you alchemize it. And once you have it, you can choose to be the conscious creator of it because it's yours at that point. You label if it's someone else's and however long you want it to be someone else's and if you want it to affect you in a negative way. And there was this content creator that I really enjoyed listening to, and it was a man, and he talked about masculine energy. And I always like listening to men talk spirituality because you rarely see that. And if you do, this one resonated with me. So we spoke a few times, and every time I noticed a pattern, and this is what stopped it, was he said that his ex-wife had an evil eye on him and was doing black magic. And I'm like, okay. So when are you going to take control of it? When are you going to stop being the victim? And when are you going to be the king that you claim you are, or take your power back? You're literally handing it and saying, you are doing this to me. Here you go. And I'm deeply affected by it. It was like, yeah, bro, I don't recognize that. Like that doesn't align with me. So the fact that you can say you're under essentially dark magic, bro, find your light and get back to me then. So just know that you choose. You do the choosing. Don't allow yourself to be chosen what happens to your energy.
Nobody can send anything your way. No entity can latch onto you unless you allow. Once you say you are not allowed, this is my home, this is my vessel, that has to go. And people also that send energy that way, that does dark magic or whatever you want to call it, whatever, has to be very mindful because you don't know who you're messing with and what their rank is on the other side. And you might send somebody stuff their way that your life might end up being effed up because therefore you just send somebody that know their power, know their energy, know how to use their energy. And now you're wondering why your life is in chaos and why stuff is being siphoned from you because now you just gave them free energy. Like I just said, they become your bitch. Now you just gave them free energy to siphon. So I can siphon as long as I want to until you decide to realize that, oh, I tried to do this to this person. It's not working. But now my life is in chaos. Now they are using this energy. Okay, I got to take my power back. You got to be very mindful.
And most of the time, people that have a negative narrative and are doing anything dark like that, they aren't even thinking about themselves when they do it because everything is a mirror.
You're right. You're sure right. I didn't even think about that. You're so
I didn't either. It just came out. You know, that's the beauty of being a projector in human design. I just talk shit and it makes sense. And sometimes you talk shit and it doesn't make sense. And then I have to say, just disregard. But that one landed and I'm happy about it and that is such a powerful thing. Thank you, higher self. Because when you understand that those people are living from a negative perspective and a negative narrative. So they are not worried about the highest good of the collective. They are a part of that collective. So they're not worried about protecting their energy. So like you said, hi Marcel, they become your bitch. And that's your choice. I'm just using it for the highest good. Thank you for helping the collective. I'm going to purify your energy, suck it through and push it out. I mean, and honestly, then maybe that is their mission in life is to be such a free ball of energy, even though they think it's negative, that we could just do what we want.
Battery pack. To be a battery pack. Yeah.
Yes, a charged battery pack. That's good. I like it. So I do want to note, just back to the training camp thing. Training camp, it is not comfortable. We don't go there with the intention. Well, one, we don't even know we're going there. We just end up on the bus. It's like our parents put us on a bus. We thinking we're going to a field trip. And then we realize we done pulled up to the boot camp. And we're like, what is going on? So it's not meant to be comfortable. Anything that happens in comfort, you're not really growing. So outside of comfort zones, there's growth. We all know that. But the training camp, the illusions being exposed, the patterns being exposed, your bullshit being brought up to the surface, it's not comfortable. Your career, the labels, the whatever that you have attached to who you are and you haven't gone to the core, it's not comfortable, and it's not supposed to be. If you're comfortable in a spiritual awakening, you are not in one.
No, you're at the very surface level, because at the beginning it's beautiful, it's magical, then all of a sudden it's like, whoo, you get taken through a roller coaster.
Listen, I love my crystals at the beginning. I loved them. Now I'm just like, do your thing, girl, because I ain't got time to talk to you right now. I'm talking to myself. Like, my crystals were everything that set the tone to my energy.
Girl, at the beginning, and so this is why I say crystals. And so when you started realizing your power, you realize these are all these things that are tools to help you to realize who your true power is. Now, not saying that crystals in themselves don't have energetic power, because they do. But when you realize it's really your intention and how you program it is how it helps you out in your reality. So with that being said, the beginning of my journey, baby, let me tell you, girl, I used to have so much anxiety from feeling energies, waking up to being able to feel energies around me. When I used to go to like stores or whatever, baby, I would have crystals in my bra, crystals in my shoes. I'd be walking around like I'm going to war.
I would always keep, I had a selenite that was supposed to, keep me from any Wi-Fi and EMF radiation. The bitch was big too. And I had selenite earrings. I also had the earrings that had the cage. So I would pop crystals in depending on the people I was going around. And I'd always have a black tourmaline, and I'd put crystal quartz in my bra. And I'm like, I was going legitimately to boot camp. But realizing the boot camp was never about what was outside. It was my inner battle with self. When it really started to shift, because this is when I was married and I started going through the whole crystal thing. We actually opened up a whole crystal shop online, girl. I was dealing them. I loved it because I believed so much in them. And I still do. I'm not discrediting.
Me too. I still
energy. Me too. I balance my entire sacred temple of my space with crystals, because I'm like, I protect my space. I don't protect my temple. My temple is protected, but I protect what my temple is around, is kind of how I look at it. It's like my temple outside, the land that my temple's on is what I protect with the crystals. And Marcel said, we are the crystal. Exactly. And that's what I understand now, is that I am the alchemist. We are all one. And I even said at the beginning, I'm reiterating a little bit, but I think this is a good point for Marcel, because he's very in tune, is that I don't even talk to my spirit guides anymore, because they are me. They are in me. They are integrated into who I am. And I don't, hey, spirit guide, can we do this today? I'm like, this is what we're doing. And this is how I move. And then it works. I understand the power is me. It always has been. It always will be. It's just that key of awareness.
Yeah. Awareness is the key. Awareness is the first step, because if you're not aware, then you legitimately will walk around your life just unaware. It really takes some time for you to realize something, is that you go through life. Like, I remember the first part of my life, whatever, like I was really walking around unaware of a lot of different things. And then once you have this awakening and the awareness, you can see like everything. You can see the answer in everything. You can look outside and look at the birds and the trees, and it's just so magical that you're legitimately connected to everything in your environment. You legitimately get messages from everything in your environment. You legitimately, from the inside, from the birds, from the trees, and it's a beauty. Like, I don't even like using the word crazy anymore. Like, I always say magical now. Like, I'm like, it's magical, because it's legitimately like I feel, from where I'm at now, I feel like the inner child of me that always knew this reality was beautiful, that always seen the beauty in this reality. And so that's really where we get back to, like, even the Bible talks about coming back into being a child. You legitimately go back to that energy of being that inner child to see the beauty in this reality. And then you create.
Yes. Also, with the inner child, talk about emotional intelligence. It's coming up on the hour. When do you want to end this, just so I know?
We can about 10 or 15 more minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll end it like 5 after. Okay. If we think about emotional intelligence, tuning into your inner child, when you just let emotions come, and you don't worry about who's going to think something or what, just before the restraints of or the labels of emotion came. If you allow yourself to just feel, feeling is healing, one. And two, feeling the emotion, it allows it to release. You acknowledge it, you're aware of it, and it lets it go. So inner child healing is so crucial in the entire part. And there's different levels and layers of the inner child healing. There's one part that you realize you can go dance in the field and nobody actually gives a single fuck. And if they do, they need to do their own inner child healing, because that's all it is. It's a mirror that they're triggered by. So there you go. I just held up a mirror. Now go do your work, girl, or just turn your head. I don't know, either one. It's fine. I'm not affected. That's a beautiful inner child epiphany when you realize I don't give a fuck. And I love it. Yeah. As long as like you're doing stuff that feels good to you and it's not hurting anyone else, you shouldn't care. And then also just the feeling of emotion, like I am all air. So it's very hard for me to be emotional. I always just intellectualize everything. Everything is an analysis. And so when I started tapping into my inner child, I started crying about everything, good and bad. Like I would cry when I was hurt, but I'd also cry when I was touched and felt passionate. And I realized like it's such a part of us sometimes, especially depending on the makeup of our human experience and what we were meant to do in this life. There's always sorry, I read the comment and got sidetracked, but I think that we realize that that inner child is when you start to experience that, you open up another level of emotional intelligence too.
You do. You really do. When you said inner child, and like you said, it is layers to it. But inner child also goes hand in hand. That's why I say tell people inner child and shadow work goes hand in hand. And the reason why they go hand in hand is because a lot of times when you have that shadow there, you have that pain, that rage, all those different things or whatever. A lot of time behind that version is a wounded version. A lot of time it's an inner child, maybe a teenager self, whatever version went through something. But a lot of time we'll see a lot of these issues started from deep-seated wounds started from the beginning, because between the ages of 0 to 7, 0 to 8, we're programmed 95% of the way, you know. So with that being said, you have a lot of stuff to look at and release that's not yours. So with that being said, you'll see where that pain and that anger and that rage is really a little child, a little girl over there in that corner in yourself that's wounded, that's crying, that's screaming out, and that is so upset because you haven't even taken the time to sit with them and to feel what they've been feeling. They've been holding on to this for so long. And when you finally start doing that work, you finally started sitting with the inner child of yours, that little child of yours, or whatever version that was hurt, whatever version had to go through that or whatever, when you really started sitting with it and feeling her emotions, feeling his emotions, and going through the process of whatever and releasing those emotions, that's when you see that angry and rage it just dissipates, because now you're sitting there and reparenting. Inner child work and shadow work is legitimately reparenting yourself. You legitimately have to tell that version of yourself they are safe now. They're not wounded anymore. Nobody's going to hurt them anymore. You know, you probably couldn't control it when you was a kid. 9 times out of 10, you couldn't. But now that you're in charge, you can. So you have the right to say, I'm setting a boundary. You're not going to do that. And it's not going to happen. And then every time you do that within yourself, you're telling in your body and the parts of yourself will start feeling comfortable with giving you more stuff to get rid of that's not yours. So you can become the full authentic expression of who you are.
Yeah. Go ahead, girl. Preach. I love it. So, Blockchain said you have to do the shadow work, and so many don't. It's also, you have to go to training camp. That essentially would be the shadow work in a sense, part of it. And in that, and it could be this old version of yourself. It could be the old self. It could be the inner child. You could call it what you want, whatever feels right to you at the time of what you're working through. But there comes a point where you have to consciously choose the old way or the new way, the old life, the new life, the old paradigm, the old identity, the old patterns, or the new ones. Obviously, the old ones aren't conducive to the new. And you realize after you resist, and it will persist, that you have to then make a choice to, do you choose yourself and do you prioritize yourself and your own healing or not? And, you know, we battle that, at least I did for a long time, but that is part of the training. It's that moment over and over again, that you don't choose yourself, or you choose it part way, but not fully, a little bit, but not all the way. And then until the new way becomes the default, that's when you just keep showing up. Keep showing up. There's so much power in showing up for yourself, and whatever inner child or shadow you want to call it, you just keep showing up. Sometimes you have to show up to the same wound deeper and deeper and deeper until the new response becomes the default. And then it could become a default one time, and then you go back and choose the old default, and there's ebb and flow to it all. But I want to quickly say the inner child, just like 3 points. Yes. And he said, of course, keep going though. That's the point. Don't know that you're worth continuing to show up. But it's the part of you that thinks love isn't your God-given right. It's a part of you that thinks that you are not worthy of all the love from a parent, love from a spouse, love from life, love from an employer, a friend. It's that part of you that maybe still thinks that you are not worthy of love at some point. So those are questions, when Eagle said that you have to do the shadow work, so many don't. Those are questions. I resonate with asking myself questions. So if this works, but, and also it's the part of yourself who feels overlooked or abandoned in some way. Like, no one ever asked me to do this, or I'm always on the outside and blah, 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 blah. What part of you feels overlooked? Go down to the root, ask yourself why until you come up with the answer. Why do I feel this? And usually it comes from a specific point in your life. Some may be ancestral, but I think that comes a little bit later. There's still a point in your life that triggers that wound, and it feels similar. So whether it's in a past life or not, it still showed up in this one somewhere. And it could be your teenager self, whatever. And also the one that's still scared of something, whether it be your parents coming home and going to discipline you, or whether it's your teacher saying that you were talking too much in class, or that you were going, whatever. There was something that happened. Where are these points in your life that are now a crucial part in how you show up as an adult?
And you know what? You said that, and I want to pull that layer back some more, because what I'm seeing a lot in the collective, especially the ones that do this work, we have what we call a healer's wound. And that healer's wound is from different lifetimes when we were in the positions that we are now. And we helped the collective in that time that we were in. And we got off. We got taken out, And so therefore it's a deep rooted, and I see this in a lot of people that do the work that we do. It's a deep rooted wound there of really showing up into your full capacity, of really being your full capacity because of something that happened another lifetime ago or whatever. But that is also, like you said, something in this lifetime would trigger. It could have been something as early as being in school and somebody told you not to talk. I've always been a talker. I ain't give a fuck when nobody told me not to talk. I was just talking. But anyway, but with that being said, we have these deep-seated wounds or whatever. So you have to really pull back and really sit with it or whatever. Like, I know I've been through different past lives of myself or whatever, and seen where certain things happen or whatever. I had to really sit with that version of myself and really just feel all the emotions that version of myself, felt in that time or whatever, and process it in this time, like legitimately, like we are the Akashic record ourselves. We have everything that has ever existed within our DNA, within our blueprint. And so therefore we have the ability, when we do the work in the present, in the lifetime, we're legitimately healing past lifetimes of ourselves, healing the future lifetimes of ourselves. So, because everything is legitimately happening at the exact same time. Nothing is really past, present, and future. We just have the illusion of everything being separate.
Yes. Earl just made I actually was looking into a book of the Hermetics, and it's interesting because then Earl and I talked, and he was like, oh, that's what I study, whatever. But he said in Hermetics, we are taught to move it into Akasha. And Akasha, I just looked it up just because I wanted to fact check it to make sure I knew what I was talking about. Akasha is the fifth element, often called the quintessence or ether. Yes, sorry, I am having tongue tied, so we're going to say or ether. I could say that, represented in the primordial, omnipresent source of all creation beyond space and time. And that's literally the Akashic records,
Mhm.
what you just said. It is
Mhm.
all, it is the all knowing, it is the ever present, it is the, it is.
Yeah.
I am.
I am. Hi, love. Hi, rebirth experience. Hi, girl. It is. It really is. And it's this journey. We get on these lives and we talk about this journey a lot because we want you to understand and understand and start doing your own work. Start doing your own work. Start researching. Start. If you need help, we're mentors. That's what we do. You can find if we don't you don't vibe with us, go find your mentor that you vibe with. But when we all step up into the calling that we are here to do, we're legitimately changing the paradigm every time we do our work and put out that into the world for other people as well. However that looks, you can be a content creator, you can be a mom that's taking care of kids, however that looks for you, you are legitimately doing what you came in to do. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yes. And understand that you can know all the things that we're saying. You can do all the research. You can literally know and you can understand. But until you face yourself, until you have changed behavior, until you understand, until you integrate the knowledge that you're gaining, and until you become, you have to create, like, you have to allow yourself to be tested to see where you're at in life too. You have to allow everyone to be a mirror to see what you're seeing in them is what's in you. And then you have to be aware and crave to discover and master yourself enough to do the fucking work, because that's really what it comes down to. And I was in this loop that I was learning and learning and learning and deeper learning and deeper learning. But I refused. I was even going as far to help other people in their awakening because it helped me disregard mine. I was wanting them to do the work, telling them exactly what to do the work, because I had the intuition to tell them, but I was refusing to do the work inside because I was using my work in them as my own work, realizing like I was avoiding my own shadow. And so then I went into a hermit mode where I stopped doing readings because I'm like, until I'm still going to get the same clients that are in this certain phase that I was just over, that now the things that I do are so much more aligned to where I am because I faced that part of myself. So I think it's really important to know, you can understand, you can do all the crystals, you can know all the things, but until you're willing to integrate it in, to understand it, and then change your behavior, change the choices every single day, and choose to like say, okay, that's a negative thought. How can I shift it in live time? And then walk accordingly. That is part of that's the only way your reality changes. Yeah.
And hold space for yourself, because there's gonna be some days that you look like you're backsliding or whatever else. Like I tell people, sometimes it's like that arrow, like you feel like you're being pulled back, so you can be catapulted forward. So if you feel like you're in that season of being pulled back, and it's like, what is going on? Like, you're legitimately a coal that's being created into a diamond. So you're going through all the different things. So you imagine how a diamond is being created in the earth, and imagine all the different things this coal has to go through to become this beautiful bright diamond. That's legitimately what you're going through. So hold space for yourself on those days that you might not be in the highs and be happy, proud of yourself on those days where you did do what you need to do or whatever, because this is an ever journey of learning how to master yourself, your energy, and your mindset, your mind in general, actually.
Yes. Whitney said, hi, Gabby.
Hi.
And we'll end here just to be mindful of everyone's time. We will be back on Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. EST. But when you said hold space for yourself, that looks different for everyone at any different stage. I mean, there's no one size fits all. Sometimes holding space for yourself, especially at the beginning of my awakening, I was so freaking tired from every interaction with someone else. I came back from any interaction feeling completely drained and exhausted. And I was someone who thought that rest and closing my eyes or taking a little reset moment, that was the devil. That was a sin. Like, my mom would not let me, naps were devil in my house.
Yeah.
So that was a program that I had to begin to to override, and I fought it for so long, thinking I'm a loser, I'm not, like, I'm terrible, I'm not going to go anywhere in life. All of these thoughts came surfacing every time I laid my body down, because I physically didn't feel like I could do anything at that point. I heard these things that I had been programmed to believe, and I had to say, shush your mouth. That is not the truth. That is not who I am. At my core, I am a great person. I have a purpose. I have goals. I have this. And me taking 15 minutes right now is not going to prohibit me moving forward. So you have to listen to those voices inside and say, is this one, if it has a negative narrative, if it's telling you what you're not, it is not your higher self. If it's telling you what you are and feeding life into you, pouring life into you, that's your higher self. So understand those different narratives and know which one to shut up.
I know. And which one to feed into, that feeds your soul.
To hone into and try to understand more. Yeah, sure. So, all right. Let us know if you have any topics or anything that you would like us to dive into in the future. And thank you so much for joining.
And remember, we are the founders of the new earth.
Yes.
All of us are. Not just me and her,
yes.
all of us are.
100%. We are literally doing this as a collective movement. So again, and also, I know some of you are not, weren't here at the beginning. If you or someone you know may want to be a guest on the live, you can email us at foundersofthenewearth@gmail.com, because we are going to have 12 spots a year to have a guest, and we would love to expand on that. So
love you.
All right.
See you this week.
Bye.
Bye.